Dropshippers and ecom brand owners, in this video, I will reveal the simple, evergreen, battle-tested system that we are using to consistently generate millions in sales per year and hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit every single month. Now, you can see here one of my dashboard screenshots, 3.9 million, last 30 days, 264,000, and even a screenshot of our profits, which, let's be honest, a lot of gurus and people like that will not show you. Now, just to be even more kind of straightforward and thorough with you, here's my dashboard, actual inside of it, Shopify Plus. There you go. So this system is called the 5-pillar scaling system, and it's a night and day difference from the dropshipping and ecom methods that you're probably familiar with because of how simple it is and how it's able to build you the skills and knowledge that you need to build 7- and 8-figure brands again and again and again by avoiding what these traditional dropshippers or ecom gurus are teaching online. And as you'll see, this means we don't have to rely on trying to go viral, organic methods that are slow and require luck, finding a new winning product, or waste years of our time trying things the old way. In other words, we don't build businesses based on virality, we build them based on consistency. Now you can see here, here's a screenshot from my dashboard. This product here was just a variant or another version of this one, and this was our upsell product and 2 versions of that. Now what I want you to notice is I've been selling the same 1 to 2 products that make up 90% plus of my sales for over 3 years now. So when you have this 5-pillar scaling system in place, your results can be very sustainable and very consistent. And the best part is that you don't have to keep selling and testing the same shitty products that die every couple of months and force you to go back to square one. This allows you to build an ecom brand that is long-term, sustainable, and produces consistent profits month over month. So my name is Dante Timpano. Maybe you've recognized me from some ads. This is Yangum, and he's showing off some of my results in his ads there, and we're great friends. Now, I'm the guy who went from 0 to over $1 million in sales in just over 12 months after failing for 4 years straight. And the turning point was this 5-pillar system that I'm going to be walking through. Then I transitioned from dropshipping and turned it into a brand that does over 3 million per year currently. I scale my own brands and help Shopify business owners doing over 15,000 a month turn their ecom stores into long-term, sustainable 7-figure brands. I've helped hundreds of brand owners at this point take their business from a couple hundred or thousand in sales a day to 6-figure months, 7-figure years, and even exiting their brand for a fat payday. And here are some examples of that. You can see here, Donald sold his business. Bao hit over 4,000 a day and is on track to do over $1 million in sales this year. Cat, 10K a day. Yen, 11K a day at 46% profits. Roman went from 30,000 a month to 100,000 per month in 12 months. That's 840 grand in new annual revenue and an estimated 520,000 increase in enterprise value. Myron from 10K a month to 25K a month. Bastion from 15K to 50K per month. The point is, the list goes on and on and on. I don't want to bore you too much here. Now, everything I do for myself and for my clients is based around systems. My goal is to generate the most amount of sales by having proven, repeatable processes in place that make it easy to scale with less time and brute force required. And you can see this in my own brand where I've generated over 3.9 million. Now, depending on when you're watching this, it may be closer to 10 million because we're going to be doing 3 to 5 million this year with less than 3 full-time employees while having the time to travel the world, party, and spend time with loved one. You would see me here in my, on my years in Dubai partying. Now, the sad truth is we are in the most confusing time ever when it comes to succeeding in e-commerce, right? The information found online is filled with beginners, repackaged information, and strategies and methods from 2016. Interest targeting, general stores, one-product stores, winning products, and the list goes on and on and on with the outdated information. And the common theme between it all is it's taught by people who either A, had some success in the past and now just make YouTube videos, or B, don't currently run their brand at scale, doing millions per year currently. And I know this because I've spent millions of dollars testing everything myself. On one campaign, we spent over 500 grand, and that's my own money and my own credit cards. 1.1 million total spent on that ad account, 1.4 million in total marketing spend. Right? So the old way of doing things results in inconsistent sales, low profit margins, and always feeling like you were trying to force scale. And this is what I followed for over 4 years when I first got into ecom, which resulted in me burning thousands of dollars and prevented me from scaling to any big numbers. And the best I got following this kind of old way was 15,000 a month, right? Which isn't anything crazy. Now you can see here, and this may look familiar to some of you guys. Maybe you're probably trying to do it now because this is what everybody preaches online on YouTube. Is find a trendy product to test, steal/replicate some ads. If it doesn't work, you just have to keep testing because you just haven't found your one winning product yet. So go all the way back to square one. Or in other words, if it does work, you could scale it for a couple months, but then your product will die. And either way, you end back up trying to find a new winning product to test. Now, worst of all, nothing about this way here is long-term or sustainable. You are always going back to square one and never building a real brand or learning what it takes to build a brand that can exit for 6, 7, or even 8 figures. And I mean, honestly, right? Like when you zoom out and look at this for what it really is, Like, right, take a look. And when you really look at this, you know, do you really think this way of doing things will create long-term wealth for you and your loved ones? Do you think this is how 8 and 9-figure brands operate? Do you really want to be in the same loophole forever? Always looking for the next winning product to make some quick cash? Dealing with inconsistent sales, low profits, ad account bans, and short-dated trends? Personally, I quickly realized this was not what I wanted. Well, actually not quickly, because it took over 4 years of me failing and going to zero in my bank account till I realized this, but I realized this was not what I wanted. I wanted to build something long-term that made me tens of thousands in profit every month consistently, and that actually had the potential for 7 and 8-figure exit. So what was the solution? The 5-pillar scaling system. So it's a battle-tested way of scaling your brand that focuses on understanding the pillars that need to be in place for your business to scale, turning them into repeatable systems, and then building the skills needed to implement them effectively. Now, this is what the top marketers and ecom brands understand. They focus on systems and crafting a business model that can easily scale and withstand the test of time. They don't focus on short-dated trends, trying to go viral, or pretty much relying on luck. Instead, they focus on the basics, getting really good at them, which then makes scaling come naturally. And this works for any brand, regardless of your niche, product, current scale, or if you're dropshipping. So let me show you the 5 pillars and how they actually work. So you can see here, pillar number 1, the fundamentals. Pillar 2, ads at scale. Pillar 3, predictable customer acquisition. And pillar 4, backend optimization. Pillar 5, oiling the machine. Now I want you to notice that each of these are connected to each other. And that's because you can't have pillar number 2 without pillar 1. Pillar 3 without pillar 2. Pillar 4 without pillar 3. And the better each pillar is, they help each other. So the better pillar 1 is, the better pillar 2 will be, the better pillar 3 will be, etc. They all work together and help improve each other. But once again, if you don't have them in place and working well, then the next pillar will not be as effective. So pillar 1, the fundamentals, like your overall business model and understanding what it takes to actually scale an e-commerce business, not just going with trendy products and doing this kind of things the old way. If you actually understand these things, then pillar 2, 3, 4, and 5 become incredibly easier. Way, way easier. Creating ads, your ads don't actually have to be as good to really scale to big numbers if pillar 1's really good. But if you have pillar 2 and you have pillar 1, then you can do pillar 3. Then you can do pillar 4, then you can do pillar 5, right? But if you don't have pillars 1 through 4 in place, pillar 5 won't matter anyways. And if you have pillar 1 through 3, yes, having each of these individually will help you scale, but it's when they work together where the real consistency, the real sales, and the real profits come. Okay, so pillar 1, the fundamentals. So what are some keys of pillar number 1 here? So focusing on product market fit and your messaging, your product overall, like your margins, improving your margin, demand, etc., setting and improving your baselines, how to grow consistently, which is understanding new customer acquisition versus your blended acquisition and how they play into each other and when to focus on what, and how they work, in contingent with each other. Now, new customers versus returning customers, which is kind of the same as this one. AOV to CAC businesses versus LTV to CAC, because depending on your product, your AOV and kind of the overall nature of your product will determine if you're AOV to CAC business or LTV to CAC. And you need to know this, because if you don't, you may be using the wrong strategy or trying to go about scaling your brand the wrong way, because it's different for both of these scenarios. The scaling flywheel, scientific testing, pushing the limits and seeing what breaks, and much more. Right? You need to understand these key pillars of what it actually takes to build a real brand. And the issue is, most people don't, because if you look at the YouTube videos in the e-com space, it's all the old way and basic way of doing things. Because one, talking about these things isn't entertaining, they're boring, but this is important. Like, this is what actually gives you the big scale and the big results. Also, too, they probably just don't know it because they haven't done it themselves, or they just simply don't know these things, right? Now, some people will see these keys and think, is this all really necessary when just starting to get sales? And the answer is 1000% yes. Although lots of these keys won't be implemented right away, you need to understand these things to know how the different parts of the business work together and what you are aiming for and how to do it. If you don't understand these, then you are just hoping to randomly find your way to scale in the dark. Example of this is big brands running their Facebook ads at or close to a 1 ROAS. Now, the big brands spending tens of thousands per day, myself spending thousands per day, we do not run our Facebook at a 2-3 ROAS at scale. It's not how it works, unless maybe you're selling like $1,000+ item. The ads are ran at like a 1.2 or 1.3. And how are we able to do this and still profit lots on the back end without being profitable on Facebook? You need to understand these things so you can replicate it for your own brand. If you don't, you'll be left in the dust, right? So you need to understand these things, because if you don't, then your way trying to grow your business is let's have a product. Let's try to make some good ads. Let's scale these ads. Do they work? Do they not? Kill the product, move on. Or you just keep testing ads and ads and ads. But what if the problem isn't your ads? What if the problem isn't Facebook? What if the problem is your business model itself and you don't have this pillar in place, right? Because when you're just trying to spam test ads, spam test products to get to scale, you're pretty much just throwing a bunch of random shit at the wall, hoping it sticks and hoping you end up there. But you need to understand the pillars that need to be in place, the systems in this pillar to actually get there effectively so you know what you're aiming for, right? So if you don't have that, and once again, pillar 2 won't matter. Now, pillar 2, ads that scale. So keys of pillar number 2, research, direct response advertising, customer avatars, desires, stages of awareness and positioning, creative roadmap and planning, creative briefs and script writing, content sourcing, editing, utilizing AI for ads, putting it all together, which all these things together. Now, this is a skill you need to develop because the faster and better you get at this skill, creating good ads, the further you're going to be able to scale. Ripping, stealing ads from competitors will only get you so far. You need to be consistently producing and testing highly converting ads. And this all comes down to research and knowing your customers better than they know themselves. Once again, a lot of people don't talk about this online because it's boring and they simply don't know it. They steal ads, they just completely rip off their competitors and just like word for word copy them. Maybe they changed it a little bit and that could work to get you some initial sales, but it will only get you so far. To really scale, you need to understand your customers' desires, the stages of awareness, the positioning of your ads, and you need to have a system for this to be able to repeatably do this at scale, to create better and better ads and scale. You can't replicate people forever. It will simply not work. Now, pillar number 3, predictable customer acquisition. So keys of pillar number 3, how to use Facebook properly, machine learning and compounding, creative does the targeting, DCT creative testing, analyzing the Facebook funnel, identifying the weak links, solving problems with creatives and creative testing, and scaling consistently. So if someone is telling you to test interest or ABO in 2024 for Facebook ads, run. You need to leverage the machine, train it, and improve it by testing creatives, which are your ads, to solve specific problems in your funnel and ad account. Because solving these problems equals acquiring more new customers consistently, right? You have to understand we are not just testing randomly here. We are testing in a specific way to make the machine learn better, to get better over time, to bring us higher quality buyers more effectively, more consistently. And we do this by testing to solve specific problems, right? We're not just testing random things. We have to identify in the ad account what's missing. What's the missing part of the funnel? Do we have all stages of awareness covered? And when we understand these things, we know what to test for. We are testing creatives to solve specific problems. And then when you have an ad that works, that fixes your business's specific problem in the ad account, that's how you actually scale the ad account, right? People don't understand this, but you will. Now, pillar number 4, backend optimization. Keys of pillar number 4, backend equals profits, refining the customer journey, building out an ecosystem, product launches and development, upsells, cross-sells, downsells, etc., email and SMS, CRO, landing page testing like advertorials and listicles. Now, this is where the profit is made. Building out and having optimized backend allows you to scale the front end further while increasing your profits. As you scale, you should be making more profit, not less. Lots of times, this pillar here, or missing this pillar, or not having it kind of in place well, is the issue why people try scaling and then their profit just drops and they can't continue scaling because they rely too heavily on day one profits. But if you have a proper backend built out and you produce profits from returning customers that you didn't have to pay for from your ads, then you don't have to profit on day one on those new customers, which lets you spend that ad spend or increase that ad spend further to get even more new customers, which then improves the backend, which then makes more profit on the backend. It's that flywheel. But if you don't understand this and you don't have these things in place properly, then you'll always be relying on day one profits and day-to-day ad performance. And that is no way to run a 7 and 8 figure brand. I can tell you right now, that is not how I do it. And pillar number 5, oiling the machine. So here we have finances, cash flow, first hires, buying back your time, refining systems, project management, quarterly objectives, expanding markets and channels. And as you scale, many issues will arise and you need to create and put processes in place to solve them and ensure things keep running smoothly. So at this point, you're doing over $1 million per year. Like once you actually have pillar 1 through 4 in place and now you're on pillar 5, you'll already be doing $1 million per year and you'll be at scale. But to sustain it and scale further, I'll show you what this looked like when I didn't have these pillars in place. It doesn't end up being consistent and you drop off fast. Now, once again, to sustain it and scale further, you need to dial in these operations. Then from this point, it is about going back to each pillar and improving it further to compound the results from the other pillars. So once again, they compound each other and they complement each other. It's the real beauty is when they all work together. If you don't have them in place, I feel for you. Now, For example, let's say we have all 5 in place, right? Now that we have all 5 in place and working, you want to go all the way back to pillar 1 and improve this, because if you improve pillar 1, that compounds all the rest and improves all the rest, right? If you go back to pillar 1 and you increase your LTV, or you improve your business margin, or you improve your margin, every single of these pillars don't become like 2 times as good. They become like 2, 3, 4, 5 times as good. And the improvements here affect all of these ones. And the improvements here affect all of these. And the improvements here affect all of these. So this is why you need them in place. And you can really see when you're looking at this, why this is a full funnel approach versus the old way of doing things, right? You have this here versus this, right? Like, you could see why I've been able to sell the same product and scale my brand for 3+ years now, even though I've had hundreds of people copy and paste my ads, copy and paste my website, sell the exact same product, and yet they're not here anymore. And I am, right? This is because they're trying to do this and I have this in place, right? They just can't compete. And so when you put all this together, you can see why it's much easier to scale a brand when you have all these pillars in place versus, the old way of doing things, where we take some ads, we think work, we run them, and we pray to Zuckerberg that we get a 10 ROAS. Instead, we craft a business model that is designed to scale and make us more profit. Then we pair that with a never-ending pipeline of highly converting ads, test specifically to solve problems, increase our profits on the back end of our business, which lets us then scale the front end even further. And lastly, make sure it works smoothly like a well-oiled machine. Now, as I was saying before, this is how it looked like in my business before and after I actually put these 5 pillars in place. So you can see here, I found out one of the pillars. I scaled up to 100K per month, but I didn't have anything else. So it quickly dropped down and I was stuck there. And then I was able to implement some of the other pillars and scale up quickly. But then I didn't have all 5 pillars in place. Even pillars I did have in place weren't very good, and sales dropped hard and they dropped fast. And I was stuck there for a while. And then after I had all 5 systems in place, puts the systems in place, I was able to scale consistently and effectively. And so by now, you should understand why the 5-pillar scaling system is so effective for scaling to millions per year compared to the traditional way of trying to run an ecom brand, relying on short-dated trends, going viral, and having no repeatable systems in place to consistently improve and scale your business month over month. And more importantly, how the system will develop your skills so you no longer have to rely on all the outdated information off of YouTube and courses from people who aren't currently scaling their brand to 8 figures per year. So from here, you can either A, take the keys from each pillar and get researching and testing on your own, or B, get guidance from brand owners who are already using this system to generate millions per year with their ecom businesses. And that's why today, for the first time ever, we are offering you direct help from 7 and 8 figure brand owners to implement this system and put the 5 pillars in place in your own business to help you scale to millions per year. If you've already heard enough information and you want to take advantage of this unique opportunity, then I recommend checking the link below this video and booking a call to speak with our team now. We're looking for a small group of brands or dropshippers doing over $15,000 a month who want to work directly with 7 and 8 figure vetted brand owners to scale their business in the next few months. We're not trying to sell everyone on this, but I want to make sure we work with people who are a good fit and I can put all my time and attention towards them. So you have no risk to simply click the link below, speak with our team about us working with you to scale your ecom business. For those of you who still need more information, well then let me explain why I believe the 5-pillar scaling system is the absolute most effective way to build a long-term cash flowing brand. So it's long-term and sustainable, right? You are no longer running a business with a ticking time bomb, waiting for your product to die and then having to go back to square one. Because unlike your competitors who are just copying and pasting each other's ads, offers, product pages, racing to the bottom, as you can see here, everyone just copies each other, you will have created a moat around your business. Where your competitors have only 1 pillar in place, at most 2, you will have all 5 pillars working together and improving each other, which allows you to be more profitable and therefore outspend your competition. This is how I've been able to sell the same product with the same offer for over 3 years now, even though there are many competitors ripping and copying it. They don't understand what's going on in the back end of my business. They can't replicate it. They don't understand the 5 pillars and what I have in place. It is this moat around my business, which lets me continue scaling, producing profits each month, and build a brand with actual enterprise value. Next is, you'll be ahead of the curve. This game of e-commerce is getting harder by the day, and people are slowly realizing the only way to survive is to build a real business, and that this, fast cash portrayed on YouTube is mostly luck and doesn't actually last very long. Even if it did work for you and you got lucky, when you don't have these pillars in place and your sales slowly decrease and your product dies, then what? You don't know how to do it again. So the only way to survive in the long run is to learn how to build a real brand that has repeat customers, high LTV, predictable customer acquisition, and a great customer experience. So you need all these different parts to make it work in the long run. And that's why you don't see many brands doing millions per year consistently, because they either got lucky and can't do it again, or they simply don't know these things. And the easiest way to have all these essential parts in place is to learn and implement the 5 pillars. Next is, you'll build actual enterprise value. So here's 2 tweets from Hermosa here. It took me 25 years to figure this out. Rich equals income, wealth equals assets. You get paid for what you do, you get returns on what you own, and you get rich from what you make, and you become wealthy from what you own, right? So scaling to $1 million per year and beyond is great. I can't complain. You make a great income, you're able to quit your job, you work from your laptop, and you travel the world, but it won't make you wealthy. You want to be building your Ecom brand into something that has actual enterprise value. The goal is to make money along the way and then also exit your brand for a fat payday, just like Donald here did twice. And nobody wants to buy a business that isn't sustainable and built to last the long run and has no moat, right? So not only will the 5 pillars help you grow and make more profit along the way, but you'll also be turning your business into an asset that you could sell for 6, 7, or even 8 figures down the line. And, isn't this all messy and hard to implement? I mean, yes and no, right? Like, it isn't messy, but it likely would be if you didn't leverage and implement the 5 pillars properly and just randomly tried implementing them. The pillars are all based around systems, and every pillar is connected and helps each other. You can't have pillar 3 without 2 and 2 without 1, etc., as I explained before. Each has its place. On their own, each pillar can help you scale, but it's only when they're all working together where you really see the outsized returns. And I won't lie and say it's easy to improve them all and put them all in place. But you don't want it to be easy, or else everyone else would do it, and then it would be even harder to compete. The 5 pillars requires an upfront investment to learn them properly and implement them, but it pays dividends for years, and it becomes your competitive advantage. This becomes your moat. And can't I just keep doing what I'm currently doing? I mean, by all means, if what you're currently doing is working, keep doing it. But the beauty of the 5 pillar scaling system is that it improves your current business model and the way you're currently acquiring customers. Whether it's Facebook ads, TikTok ads, organic marketing, drop shipping, or a brand, it will help you improve your current setup to be more profitable and scale faster. And take it from someone who has made and spent millions on his brand, and also who has, quite frankly, lost hundreds of thousands as well, testing different stores, product strategies, etc. I've been on both ends. Building a sustainable, cash flowing ecom brand is the only thing that matters in the long run. Someday your ad account will be banned, your ads won't perform as well, you'll have chargebacks, etc. And you'll be happy you spent the time to learn what it takes and what is needed to build a brand that does millions per year without relying on day-to-day ad performance. So with that being said, we'd like to formally invite you to click the link in the description to book a call with our team about how we can help you put the 5 pillar scaling system in place in your own business, help you scale to millions per year and beyond. We're looking to work with a small handful of Shopify owners doing over $15,000 a month who understand how powerful the 5 pillars can be for building a long-term, profitable $1 million brand. Now, I'll spend the next 5 minutes explaining how the process works and what you'll get by working with us. So first of all, I cannot stress this enough. There's not just one thing that makes the 5 pillars work. It's not just about making some better ads, implementing one of the pillars, and then boom, you're scaling and you doubled your profit, right? It's all one big system with many other smaller systems within each pillar, and they all work together to reinforce and improve the other. If you are missing one, you can not only miss out on tens of thousands in profit, but quite frankly, it could lead to disaster, as it did in my business in the past. It could easily take years to try and piece it all together on your own. But after spending millions testing and learning directly from 8 and 9 figure brand owners, we've boiled this process down to an exact science. And second of all, this is not a course. You are getting direct help from 7 and 8 figure brand owners who are all currently, like today, run their own brands, what they do for a living. There are no contractors, agencies, or third-party consultants. You are getting guidance from brand owners who are actively in the trenches doing millions per year as we speak. And you are getting all of our systems, frameworks, and processes in each pillar of the business so you can copy and paste it to your own. Every brand and situation is unique. And that's why you'll also have weekly calls with these brand owners and direct access to them and myself at all times to answer any questions you have and help you overcome any issues you face along the way. You are getting the entire 5 pillar scaling system, help implementing it, and continued guidance from brand owners doing millions per year. So here's how the process works. First is one-on-one consulting. So first you'll hop on a one-on-one call with me to dive deep into your current situation and figure out why you aren't at the scale you want to be at yet, and put together a roadmap to solve your current problems and give you the next steps to take you and get you scaling as soon as humanly possible. We do this first because it builds the foundation for the next steps to follow for implementing the systems that your business currently needs in your current situation. Then it's access to all the systems. So we'll give you access to all the systems in each pillar and teach you how they work, how to use them, and how to optimize them. These are all completed with all the resources, tools, and frameworks you need to put them into action right away. This means you'll spend less time watching modules or sitting through consulting calls and more time getting shit done. So essentially, this is going to let you copy and paste the exact systems I use day in and day out in my own brand to acquire new customers predictably, scale, increase profits, and how to manage and run it all smoothly. Then you get the consulting from 7-8-figure brand owners. So we're not just going to give you all this information and overwhelm you with it and leave you to figure it out on your own. You'll be getting consulting from 7-8-figure brand owners multiple times a week to make sure you are using the systems properly and ultimately to make sure you're scaling your business to millions per year minimum, so that every step of the way you have someone who has done it multiple times before and who is currently scaling their brand to help you hit your sales goals. As well, you'll get all of our connections to the top agencies, partners, and freelancers that we use across all of our own brands. Then we have behind the scenes and bonuses. So in addition to the 5-pillar scaling system, consulting, and direct guidance, we let you in behind the scenes into our own brand. We don't keep any secrets or hide anything. You will see my brand, my products, my ad account, and everything else. Whatever you need or want to see, we'll go over live on the consulting calls so you can see exactly how the 5-pillar system works at scale for my own brand. And the best part is that there is no additional cost for all of the support and no equity to give up. The only catch is due to the amount of direct support we give. We can only work with a certain number of brands each month, and we only work with Shopify business owners doing over $15,000 a month. So if that's you and you want the entire 5-pillar scaling system, direct help from 7-8-figure brand owners, and want to do millions per year, then I invite you to go below this video, hit the link, and book a call with our team. While booking your call, it'll ask you some questions that will allow us to get the information we need about your business to make sure we can help you scale and see if you qualify. So if you want to build a sustainable, cash flowing brand, then go below this video and book a call to speak with our team. We can only work with a small number of brands each month, so do not wait.